Good evening and welcome to this evening's meeting of the Woodbury County Board of Adjustment. Today's date is July 7th and the time is 6 o'clock. Tonight's meeting will be audio taped, the minutes will be prepared. With respect to all parties, we ask that present turn off cell phones and set to vibrate. Those in attendance are asked to use the sheet at the front of the table. I'd like to take a moment to review the procedures the board will follow tonight. Board will handle normal housekeeping agenda items, and for each application on the agenda, I'll open the public hearing on the item. The planning and zoning staff will then present the staff report, including the recommendation. Any letters or communications received from the public prior to the hearing will be entered in the record. The applicant will then have the opportunity to present his or her case and respond to the staff report. Next, we'll hear comments from the public. If you'd like to speak either in support or against the application, you must come to the microphone. Please first state your name and address for the record. All interested parties shall be heard, but repetitious comments will be avoided. Should be avoided. Repetitious or irrelevant comments may be ruled out of order by the chair. I ask for me respectful and courteous with all your comments at all times. After all public comments have been heard, the staff and applicant may make a closing statement. The hearing shall then be closed by motion and vote. Thereafter, no further comments from the staff, public, or applicant may be heard unless asked for by the board. Board shall then deliberate the case and ask questions of the applicant, the staff, or any other party offering testimony. However, such questions do not reopen the hearing for additional comment from the public unless so requested or approved by the board. The board will then formally vote on the motion. The motion will typically either grant or deny the requested application. Any board member has an ex parte communication to place in the record of this meeting should do so prior to the beginning of deliberation of the respective agenda item. Any person desiring to appeal the board's decision to a court of record may do so within 30 days after filing of this decision with the planning and zoning office. Roll call.
Okay, Tom, it appears that we're at roll call, and so we just want to verify that everybody's here, so we'll start with the phone. Pam, are you present?
Present.
Okay, and as for the other members of the Board of Adjustment, Tom is here, Bob is here, and Daniel is here, so 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 4 members here, and Ashley is absent. Okay, as for the members of the public, just to verify, Bill Holland is here. Let's see, Chris Larson is also here, and am I missing anybody? And okay, it looks like it's Chris, are you still present?
Yep, I'm still here.
Okay, and Bill Holland, are you there?
Yep.
Okay, sounds good. It looks like we can move to the next one.
Okay, public comment on matters not on the agenda.
Okay, it looks like here at the boardroom, there is no public in the room, and our 2 public participants are on the phone. Okay.
The approval of the minutes from June 7th, 2021. Motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve minutes. I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Bob and a second by Daniel to approve the minutes from the previous meeting held on June 7th. Do we have any discussion? There being none discussion, we can go ahead and vote. Pam, how do you vote?
Approve.
Okay, Daniel?
Aye.
Bob
Aye.
and Tom.
Aye.
Minutes passed 4-0. Okay, it looks like we are moving to the agenda item number 5, items of business. There are 2 items, and I will, on behalf of staff, go ahead and as we enter the public hearings, to read off the borrow pit conditional use permit by Mid-American Energy. The Mid-American Energy Company requests to establish a temporary borrow pit to remove earth and material or resource extraction. This proposal is part of a multi-year project involving Mid-American Energy's ash impoundment system. There are several phases of this project that commenced in 2015. On June 1st of 2020, the Woodbury County Board of Adjustment approved a conditional use permit for a temporary borrow pit on parcel number 8747-302-00005. Similar to the 2020 proposal, this request is for the property located on parcel number 8747-311-00008 in the northeast of section 31 on government lot 1 in Township, Liberty Township, which is Township 87 North, Range 47 West. This property is located just west of Port Neal Circle and located in the general industrial zoning district on Mid-American grounds. A portion of this property, which is not the borrow pit area, is designated in the floodplain, which is not affected by it. With that said, this went through the zoning commission for review, and the zoning commission came to the conclusion that they concurred with the staff recommendation to approve the conditional use permit as proposed. The applicants did present a complete application in compliance of the Woodbury County zoning ordinance that satisfies the conditional use permit criteria. Included within the packet is the zoning commission minutes, so you can see kind of what went on with their meeting. The packet also includes the proper legal notifications for tonight's meeting, as well as the property owners that were notified within 500 feet for this respective conditional use. Staff did reach out to the stakeholders and asked their opinions on things and did not see any major conflict. County engineer Mark Nara found that this road system met the requirements to adequately suit this site as well for the conditional use permit. So he felt that it is fully capable of facilitating them to operate here, and also to mention that this is a valid conditional use permit area as it's in the general industrial zoning district. So it does meet the appropriateness there. Page 7 of the packets basically goes through the conditional use criteria, provides kind of a site plan, and shows the response to their questions. Staff, again, as I said before, did say that we find that the conditional use permit is compliant. We also did provide you with some additional information where there's an easement that gives the property owners access to the property. We haven't heard anything from adjacent property owners that had an issue with this or opposed this. And so Chairperson Thiessen, that's pretty much what staff has got.
When we approved the original permit, you know, they said this is a multi-year thing.
Yeah.
We required that they keep the road clean and have truck entering assemblies. Was that going to be continued on to this point? We need to reestablish those conditions that needed.
In particular on this one, I thought that too. But last time we took County Engineer Nara's lead on it. And that's typically from that perspective, that's what we do. And Mark coming up with that particular recommendation, we pretty much just follow what Mark said with that. So him not putting that condition, I guess, to us.
Would he have been an assumption that was going to carry on with the original?
That, I can't speak for him on that. in terms of the assumption either way, but he definitely was provided with all the adequate materials. He was down there at the site as well and looked at it before he did come back and bring me the information. So I'm pretty confident that he wasn't concerned. And I know he looks at the site distance, and I know that a site from last year was kind of up closer. I think it's to the 260th. He was definitely worried about it from that angle, but again, I can't speak for him beyond what he enumerated in the packet.
Problems or concerns for me then?
If there are not questions, the Board of Adjustment definitely could consider entertaining motions. Oh, but you would have to close the public hearing by motion first.
Did a chance?
Sure. Sure, Bill, this is Dan again. Do you have any comments for the Board of Adjustment, or would like to tell them a little bit about the project?
Yeah, I can do a quick summary of the project overall. Like I said in the permit, it's a multiple year project. The soil is being used to cap and cover the ash pond in Mid-America. So some of the soil will be either going to close up the areas where the ash did come from, or else all the ash is being consolidated underneath one in one kind of hillside and one impoundment, and that's getting capped with a plastic liner. So some of the soil will be going to go over the top of the plastic liner also. So just kind of depends on where, what phase at that point in time, where this exactly. But that's the overall project for America is to take the ash out of the closure or out of the ponds and put one area, and then have that area capped with a plastic liner. Then the other areas where the ash came out of will just be filled with a little bit of dirt and having on them.
I'm just making the assumption the area that's being used for the borrow pit, when you're done excavating material from that's just gonna be reseeded. Just what's the future of that project, that site? Is that gonna be cropland, or is it gonna be just grassland, or what?
Yeah, it's going to be a low area, so it's going to be, some of it's going to probably have water ponding in the bottom of it. The slopes will all be seeded and reestablished. In the current borrow, we're working with Mid-America at this point in time to redesign it as benefit as possible. But some of that will be pond, and the rest of it will just be seeded and not quite suitable for cropland.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Any other comments on this?
Appears to be done.
Close the meeting.
Okay.
Make a motion to close. So, you made a motion. That's it.
Okay, motion to close public hearing by Bob and second by Tom. Discussion? Okay, otherwise we'll vote to close the public hearing. Pam, how do you vote?
Aye.
Okay, Daniel?
Aye.
Bob? And Tom? Okay, motion passes to close public hearing 4-0.
These kids have done this many times before, more than likely they have their ducks in a row. I know I watched it fairly close down there and did the other one, and it just looks like it's an efficient operation, so I don't think there's any reason the person should be too concerned about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Motion to approve then, or? Sure.
And I will guide you to page 3 of the packet as well. We can have suggested motion.
I'll motion to approve the application as proposed.
Okay, motion by Daniel, second by Tom, okay. Okay, do we have a discussion? Okay, we'll go ahead and vote by roll call. Pam, how do you vote?
Aye.
Okay, Daniel,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Tom. Okay. Motion passes 4-0 for approval of the temporary borrow pit for Mid-American Energy. Okay, that will move us to the second item under item number 5.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you. I believe that starts on page 25 of the packet. And Tom, I will go ahead and read the staff report. Okay, this proposal here is from the Northwest. Okay, to begin with this agenda item, the Northwest Iowa Power Cooperative, oftentimes referred to as NIPCO, requests for the Woodbury County Board of Adjustment to approve their variance request to reduce the limited industrial corner side yard setback of 50 feet as required by the zoning district dimensional standards of the Woodbury County zoning ordinance, section 3.04, to 15 feet from the north lot line or right-of-way line to facilitate the expansion of their electrical substation with the installation of a new battery system on the property designated as parcel number 884604200007 and located in the northeast quarter of section 4. This is the Floyd Township, Township 88 North, Range 46 West. This is the corner side yard setback that abuts US Highway 20, and it's also along Eastland Avenue there. This property is not located in the floodplain. The applicants have provided a complete application after review of the important stakeholder agencies, including US Highway 20, which is the big one here, the DOT. Staff does recommend approval of the variance request. Kind of moving to page 26 of your packet, you'll kind of see a site plan. It kind of shows you a zoomed in where that ground space would be, where they are requesting to add this extra infrastructure to the facility. This was properly published in the Sioux City Journal's legal section. The area property owners were notified via letter within 500 feet. The stakeholder agencies provided their respective comments. You'll notice kind of a CenturyLink. The packet, of course, was sent to the applicants as well. CenturyLink kind of mentioned some fiber cable there, which does not appear to correspond with the requested area. Kind of the big one was from Kelly Mohill, which is the utility coordinator from the DOT. NIPCO had reached out to them earlier on this spring before they approached the county, I believe in April. And so by the time I talked to Kelly, I called Kelly and I said, what is going on with this project? So Kelly was able to educate me a bit on what this proposal was. And you'll see kind of crossing to pages 27, 28 in your packet. Kelly made a statement to Chris Larson, who's on the call here, saying, hi Andrew, at times of multiple utility installation present, we purchase an additional 15 feet per utility corridor. Without a crystal ball, it's hard to exactly determine right-of-way needs. I feel the 15-foot offset from existing right-of-way should be a safe distance with the existing geometry of the roadway adjacent to the subsystem. If you have room to add additional, of course, he recommends for more if they could. I asked Kelly once the application, I had talked Kelly as well on the phone, but I asked Kelly if he, when I sent in the stakeholder packet, like we always do for these meetings, this information was put in front of Kelly. And I asked him to confirm if he basically stood behind what he wrote there before. And he said, Danny, I haven't heard no objection or additional comments on this proposal. So they're fully aware of what NIPCO has in mind for the site as them being the top stakeholders in the matter. County engineer Mark Nara, of course, was consulted as well, and Mark kind of pushed us back to, of course, contacting the DOT. And then the day after, for full disclosure, I talked to Mark about his comment there and told him, when he told us that, hey, you should reach out and talk to the DOT, I told him, hey, we've talked to Kelly, we've talked to the DOT, and this is what we came up with. So he appeared satisfied too, after I had informed him that the DOT was definitely the first stakeholder that was consulted with this respective utility project. The applicant comments and everything were fit in beginning on page 29 under each of the respective variant criteria. And so after review of what the applicants have presented with the staff and kind of looking at this from a utility standpoint, staff came to the conclusion, kind of based on what they looked at on where they were best able to locate these respective items, because most of the time, the staff has a little speech that we give about variances when folks come to variances. We say that they're often discouraged, and we try to find out areas that you can make your projects work. And if they don't work, then we bring it to the Board of Adjustment, basically. So as we have, the box that we're able to work in, this basically came to variance level because NIPCO basically told us that this is the design of the project. This is kind of the way that we have to go with it. And that's
work to the west.
yeah, they didn't see that kind of in their plans, but with Chris being here tonight, I'll go ahead and stop the staff statement and see if he has anything to offer for this application. So Chris?
Yeah, I can definitely kind of give a summary or an overview of the project if you'd like.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, so we would like to install it's roughly a 1 megawatt Tesla battery just north of the substation. And what we're going to use that for, we'll connect it up to the low side of the substation, and we're going to be using it for peak shaving. So each month, NIPCO is billed by our power provider for power. So if we are able to reduce that at the peak time of the month, then we can pass those savings on down to our members and they onto their members. So we're going to roll it into our existing load management system, which is also used for peak shaving. And this is just another way that I guess we're trying to get modernized, if you will, and find additional methods to pursue peak shaving. The location of the battery being to the north of the station, it's nice because it requires very little grading. It's right next to the low side, so like a short distances in that sense. So it's a very good location for the battery right there, as opposed to any other location.
I guess I have a question, with the ever-changing battery technology out there, do you foresee this as something that is going to be, adequate, 5-10 years down the road?
Yeah, so we expect that this battery will last us somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 20 years before we'd have to replace it. But yeah, the nice thing about it, you're right, it should offset some need to, I guess, do any other changes at the substation, upsize the transformer, for instance, or upsize any other bit conductor or bus work or whatnot. But yeah, I definitely see this as going to be a growing thing in other substations as well.
Okay, but this is satisfactory that you foresee down the line 15 or 20 years with this variant size?
That is correct.
You did say you see this happening to other substations around the county, for lack of a better place. Is this like one of your first projects, or have you been doing this?
I'm not sure. I couldn't quite hear that question.
Yeah. Is this something that, is this the first one that you've done in the county, this battery addition to the substation? Are you planning on doing that to other NIPCO substations in the county?
This is the first one that NIPCO has done, period, end of sentence. So as far as doing any more, we're actually kind of limited by what our power provider allows us to do. They've allowed us to install this 1 megawatt battery, but any more than that, their current policy does not allow for anything further so far.
Okay, yes, my follow-up question was on if you were going to be doing it at other substations, are you going to, do you find that you have area available around them, or is this going to be a reoccurrence? But I guess that's a moot point now, so. I don't have any other questions.
Seems pretty straightforward, and if the DOT is, you know, on board with it, I would think that would be the big roadblock there.
That was the question. We follow up on calls, but yeah, Mark was.
Pretty surprised me that the OK jumped on
Yeah, that easily.
Yeah, typically along the corridor, especially like the utilities, they think DOT quickly. In fact, I think we're a lot of times the second call, so. I would, hey, Pam, do you have any questions?
No, I think I get what they're trying to do there.
Okay. The next two steps would be to close the public hearing.
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
Okay, motion to close by Bob. And, okay, second by Daniel. We have a motion and second to close. Any discussion? There being none discussion, how do you vote, Pam, to close the public hearing?
I didn't quite catch that.
Yeah, how do you vote to close the public hearing?
Aye.
Okay, Daniel,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
and Tom.
Aye.
Okay, public hearing is now closed.
Most of the conversation, I don't have anything to add.
Yeah, if the DOT is on board and there's no problems with nearby landowners, which I see none, it sounds like it's a complete application.
Staff recommendation, but.
Yeah, the staff is to approve it.
I have a motion to approve.
We do have suggested language too on page 25. Because basically we're adjusting that corner side yard setback.
So I'll make a motion to approve based on the suggested motion, which is motion to allow Iowa Power Cooperative NIPCO to reduce the required corner side yard setback from 50 to 15 feet on parcel number as recorded.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Bob.
I'll second.
Okay, second by Tom. We have a motion and a second discussion. There being no discussion, we'll go ahead and vote. Pam, how do you vote?
Aye.
Daniel,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
and Tom.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 4-0. That would put us at public comment.
Public comment on matters not on the agenda.
Pretty content crowd.
No public present.
There being no public in the room and no additional folks on the phone.
Any board member comment or inquiry?
Do we have any comments or inquiries?
Just on what was happening at the supervisory meeting tonight with the wind thing. I know, I guess from what I understand, that they were gonna have Foster Hills overlay, but from what I'd seen on the recorded board meeting, that did look like it was kind of necessary. It was kind of to the point where everything was pretty well excluded anyhow.
Yeah, it kind of, the version, just to kind of clarify, the version that you had was brought to the zoning commission, to the board of adjustment. And the way those ordinances are designed, the public has up to 3 opportunities to do public comment and go through the process at the board of supervisor level. So when that version was brought to the board of supervisor level, there was a comment that came out of the board of supervisors about the Los Hills. And so then some amendments were made. Okay, do you include that language in? And so then the next 3 meetings or so, my understanding, were kind of used to educate the public about the discussion there on whether you put it in and do not put it in. So they were kind of, and I'd have to go back at least to reference or cite the record or what they said in the meetings. They were looking at, either having those amendments as you were referring to or not. And I know that the meeting was kind of still going on. Tonight's the 3rd meeting of it, but it was still going on kind of near the start of this. But I know last week they kind of had a motion in there to have the Los Hills, but it's kind of went kind of both ways.
The public comment was the public, my perception of the public's input was that they did not want the overlay.
Mhm.
And Mr. Raddick and Mr. Munson both made a motion to leave it in. Let's go to the next one. If they had any public comments, they'd bring it up at the next hearing and everything. They brought it up at this hearing. So
It's actually a dangerous overlay. I know all about it. On page 2 of the county's general use deal, it says that they threw that out because it was going to be burdensome to landowners, because that if they accept that Los Hills overlay map, that could down the road they could come in and say, well, we're gonna limit your use to, you can't put a building on this ground now, you can't put a grain bin here, you can only have 2 pets, something like that.
Yeah, I feel kind of at this point, because that meeting's going on, I can't be really helpful in my total response on how they're coming out on it. But kind of with that said, yes, that was one of the definitely the valid concerns, and it kind of came out, the term overlay kind of came out more so in a kind of a confusing way, where some may have thought it was a zoning district, others, thought of it as a designation or something to stay out of, but there's kind of a lot of different interpretations that I understand that they were working on clearing up, through tonight's meeting, but I was able to watch, part of it up to the point of before we got initiated to, start this meeting, but without knowing kind of the result, I feel I can't be totally helpful on.
was there, and not being down there, I thought it probably been over last week, it only lasted about 15 minutes, it was over by 4:30. Well, by 5 o'clock now. And was there much public showing?
The first week, going back to the YouTube video, there were a few more representatives there. The second week, there were a few too.
Tonight,
But tonight, I think was a bit more lengthy. But again, the design of that does allow, the public at the supervisor level. That's our most public opportunity for the county, with of course, the news media there, with the posting, and the legal notice and all of that aspect. So I know that they're gleaning a lot of information from the public, the stakeholders. I know the supervisors referenced, and I'm sure which one referenced that they would take that opportunity through the week to collect more information, but
Keith,
I certainly can't.
he said that, he opened it up for people to send comments.
Absolutely. And, but that's just kind of, I hate to go back and say reference back, but I can't speak for them or those respective proceedings, but, it's definitely helpful when we all see, the public interact and the 3 meetings definitely take place. But I'm very encouraged to go. I'm going to go back to and look and see the YouTube video. But yeah,
Dave's position when it say, it seemed like he presented the information quite well, and it's kind of like, oh, now listen to that now. We're on a different page, so.
and it's fascinating too, because when I've taught classes in my kind of previous career, it's a classic case study where you see the wheels of government working, you see the public interacting, and it's our sort of our local level action there where, you're taking up an issue, you're bringing it before the board, people are providing input from all sides. So from the science of how government works, it's quite fascinating. But
That's all I had on it. I guess I was just concerned about it.
okay,
No other public inquiry or questions from
do
me.
we have any other?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, motion to adjourn by Daniel,
Second.
second by Bob. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Discussion. Okay, we go ahead and vote. How do you vote, Pam?
Aye.
Okay, Daniel,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
and Todd. Meeting closed. Thank you, everybody.
For your effort.
Thanks.
Yep, thanks a lot.
Work you put into it.